we were failing at not giving you all the goods. We have so many tools in our soft skill training toolkit, and we want you to have them. Accessorize with them. Make it fashion, honey, okay? So after listening to this podcast, you will be working it like the baddest mamma jamma in your biz, okay? We are legit giving away all of our secrets because we asked you what you want and you told us what you needed. So stay tuned. Improve it, fam. So much goodness is in store for you. Are you a leader or change maker inside of your business, organization, or corporation? Are you looking for new, innovative ways to drive morale through the roof? Are you looking for fun and exciting icebreakers, team building exercises, and activities that will foster team growth, friendships, loyalty, and completely transform your organization from the inside out? Have you been searching for a fun and unique way to create change instead of the same old dry, boring leadership books and icebreakers that aren't actually working? Hi, I'm Erin Deal, business improv edutainer, fail fluencer, and professional Zombie who is ready to help you improve it. My mission in life is to help you develop teams and leaders through play, improv, and experiential learning. In this podcast, we will deep dive into professional development, team building, effective communication, networking, presentation skills, leadership training, how to think more quickly on your feet, and everything in between. We have helped everyone from Fortune 500 companies to small mom and pop shops transform their business, their leadership, and their people through play. So grab your chicken hat. We are about to have some fun. Welcome to Improve It, the podcast. Welcome, my friends, to the new and improved, pun intended, Improve It podcast. Pew, 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 pew. Whew. All right. So if you are a long-time listener of the Failed It podcast, you may be thinking to yourself, what in the actual hello is happening here? This was the Failed It podcast. You were probably thinking, I come here to hear success stories through the fails of uber successful individuals. Failed It fam, I have an update for you. Let's hold hands. Hold hands. Here we go. You are always my Failed It family. But more importantly, you were always my Improve It family. So today we're launching a rebrand of our actual brand. Let me say that again. Yes, it is a rebrand of our actual brand. Record scratch. What? Icky. Yeah, you heard me correctly. The Failed It podcast is now the Improve It podcast. So why in the holy guacamole did we do this? How did this happen? I am going to spill the beans and let you in on a little secret, my friends. We did not fail the Failed It podcast. Just like anything that happens on the improv stage, there were no mistakes from the Failed It pod, only gifts. So I want you to go back. We are in episode 64 of now the Improve It podcast, but go back just one more episode of what was the Failed It podcast and listen to the highlights. It was episode 63 of some of the amazing humans who are now a part of our lives because the Failed It podcast existed. So we had entrepreneurs who were scaling 7-figure businesses to corporate leaders leading the charge on equity and inclusion in corporate America to comedians who were crushing it with comedy specials on Netflix and Comedy Central and TED Talks. We talked to them all. But we and you, my friends, were always bigger than just the fails and the fail yeahs. Don't worry, we'll still fail yeah around these parts. And Improve It, the company that I run, is so much more than that. We are all about our core values, which include things like yes and everyday leadership, play, learn, and have fun, explore more, and drive results. These are the things, the fundamentals, the pillars that we stand on behind the brand here at Improve It. And I just felt like we weren't giving you all the goods. Now, at Improve It, we teach on 11 different soft skills, and we do so much more than highlight the lowlights. Now, I am going to say this. I am so grateful. I mean this with my whole heart. I am so grateful for the guests that we had on this show and on Failed It. And if you're listening as a previous guest on this show, I'm just going to tell you thank you again, because it took a ton of vulnerability, guts, and confidence to come on here and discuss the things that weren't so glam or glamorous. I still talk to a lot of the people we had on the show as guests today, and I have built some amazing friendships and relationships through it all. I'm so grateful for the show that got us to this point. So I am not sad at all. Previously Failed It, but always Improve It family. I am excited. So welcome to the new pod. And if you are new here, let me just give you a quick and brief intro of myself. Allow myself to introduce myself, if you will. So, and maybe Failed It fam, this might be news to you too. So just hold tight. All right. So if you're new, and if we don't know each other that well, I'm Erin Deal. I'm a business improv edutainer, failfluencer, and professional zombie. That's Zoom zombie. And I help leaders and companies develop teams and people through play, improv, and experiential learning. My mantra is get comfortable with the uncomfortable. I'm talking about sit in a yoga pant, a messy bun, a sweatshirt, get real comfy with the uncomfy. Now, through a series of unrelated dares, I created this company, Improve It, a professional development company that uses the fundamentals of improv comedy to help professionals laugh, learn, and grow. Among my many accolades, so many, I am most proud of successfully coursing over 26,000 professionals. That's 26,000 professionals to chicken dance. You heard that correctly. The thing you see at a wedding. Yes, 26,000 peeps have done that in my presence. So you heard that right. We're going to get back to that number in just a minute. But I've spoken on stages nationwide for all types of events and associations, usually in some form of teal attire. Teal is my favorite color. And to me, teal is the real deal, which is also my Instagram handle, Keeping It Real Deal. If we aren't friends, go give it a little follow. You're going to see all kinds of behind the scenes things, some tips, some tricks, some motivation, and a lot of love and laughter. So I'm a 2-time graduate of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, and I'm a graduate of many improv schools of comedy, including the Second City, IO Theater, and the Annoyance Theater. Now, when I'm not playing pretend over Zoom or on stage, you can find me at the beach in my new hometown of Charleston, South Carolina, with my hubs, my 2-legged miracle baby Jackson, or my 4-legged child, Big Deal. And that is an 8-pound toy poodle, middle initials FN. So now that we have become virtual BFFs, I'm giving you a hug through the airwaves here. Or if we already were virtual BFFs, perhaps you learned a new thing or two about your gal. Let me fill you in on Improve It, because we are going to take a lot of the work that we do in our workshops, keynotes, and laugh breaks and apply it here on this show. Now, as I said, we are a professional development company that uses improv comedy to train professionals on soft skills. And let me toot the horn for a minute, okay? Got to pass some gas and toot the horn. I don't really know why I said that, but I'm going to toot. So we've worked with Fortune 500, Fortune 100 to small mom and pop shops and non-for-profit organizations. We've worked with companies like United Airlines, Uber Freight, Paylocity, Groupon, PepsiCo, Deloitte, Motorola, Walgreens, the Obama Foundation. Met them, got a show about it. We'll cue to that in just a little bit. We'll make sure we cue to that show in the show notes because that story is just one for the ages. We've worked with Kellogg, Warby Parker, Abbott Labs, and more. And we train on soft skills. So anything from leadership to team building to sales to presentation skills. And we have 11 different workshops that can be conducted online or in person. Now we have pivoted as a very strong pivot in this pandemic. And if you go all the way back to episode 1 of this show, you can hear the struggles that we went through being a completely in-person business that had to go completely virtual overnight. The struggle was real. Now, like I said, we have now 11 different soft skill workshops that are in person and on Zoom, each complete with a 3-week DIY e-learning course. And so these are what we do day in and day out. This is what started us off as a company, as a brand, but we've also added in some different offerings. So we do virtual and in-person keynotes for large conferences and events. And we now also offer laugh breaks, which are short form improvs to break up your boring Zoom meetings. This was a product of the pandemic, and to date, we have conducted over 78 laugh breaks to teams across the world, literally the world, because we're virtual. And we started doing this in August of 2020. So it's so much fun. We love crashing Zoom meetings with laughter, levity, and positivity. Now, remember that statistic I gave you. 26,000 professionals impacted by our work. That is 100% accurate. We have worked with over 26,000 people improving their lives through the magical teaching tool that is improv comedy. Now, we also use that chicken dance, like I mentioned, as part of our workshops. So know that 26,000 people have also had fun and got outside of their comfort zone with us. So I wanted to give you this background on what we do. I also think it's sort of important for us to start at where did Improve It come from? How did this idea come to be? So I got this idea for Improve It in 2011 after being asked to join a women's entrepreneurship pilot program with my friend Nicole Cromaldi. Now, she was also on this show. We're going to link to that in the show notes too, if you want to go back. She does a great episode under the Failed It name where we're talking about fails in social media. She is a social media director at Allstate now, but at the time, she was a very popular blogger as well as sort of social media maven. She created a brand called Miss Career Girl, and she had started this pilot program for women who had entrepreneurial ideas. And she asked me to come and sit in and give her feedback on the program. Now, at the time, I had zero ideas for a business, but I was working in corporate America doing business development at a recruiting firm. And I'll tell you this, I loved my manager so much. I love her, still talk to her to this day. And I loved helping people. And I never thought I would be in recruiting and or doing business development, but somehow the two of these just fit. So I was working this 9 to 5, and I then started getting very serious with improv in the evenings and on the weekends. And I would go work my 9 to 5, leave the 9 to 5, then spend 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. in class or in shows or rehearsing with my improv teams. So I basically had 2 jobs, and the one I was doing in the evening was spilling into my day job, and it was making me so much better at my job. Improv started making me a better listener, a better networker, a better presenter. The list just goes on. And after many, many hours and evenings and weekends spent formulating a vision of this brand, Improve It, and this business plan, which, fun fact, I didn't really have a plan, just a vision. Improve It was actually born and came into existence in April of 2014. But it was all Nicole's class that helped me start thinking about this vision and this brand. Now, this also led me to asking people to join this team because I knew Improve It was not just me. It was way bigger than me, right? So I asked people to join the team as facilitators and take a chance with me. And this was in 2014. And at the time, I was still working full-time at my recruiting job. And I eventually left in the fall of 2015 to pursue Improve It full-time. And I haven't looked back ever since. But I'm so proud to say that I would say almost all but like 2 people that I asked to be a part of Improve It in the very beginning are still with us today. And we've grown the team. We are a small but mighty internal team now. We have a client experience manager, a director of talent, a podcast manager, social media manager, and we have 22 improv professionals from Chicago to LA to New York. So we are so proud of this engine that came into existence in my mind in 2011, actually became a thing in 2014 and a real thing in 2015. And we have been growing and then withstood a pandemic and are still here to tell the tale. Now, we've been nominated for the Chicago Innovation Awards in 2015 to 2019. We've received the Chicago Red Eye Big Idea Award, which actually catapulted us into launching and building this brand in 2014. So as I had started this side job on my full-time job and also doing improv, I applied for this competition called the Chicago Red Eye Big Idea Awards. And no one at my full-time job at the time knew that I was building Improve It, but it started to become very obvious to everyone around me when we started to get a lot of press and this idea started to really get noticed. And then we won this award and everything just was a domino effect from there. So I'm just giving you some stats here on why Improve It is going to change your life through this podcast. So we've been featured in Forbes, Crain's, Chicago, and Insight Magazine, to name a few. Now, my Improve It family, formerly known as the Failed It family. Let me just share with you who this podcast is for. So maybe you're listening and you're thinking, I loved Failed It. I was on board for Failed It. Do I want to stay on board with Improve It? I'm pretty sure you do, because let me share with you why this show is created and for who. So it's for leaders, the people who care about the people and how the people operate within their organizations and systems. It's you, my Improve It family. You care about your people and the teams that make up those people. You are a leader in talent development, learning development, human resources, or in some type of capacity within your organization. You can be in corporate America. You can own a small business. You lead those people and you care about your company culture and professional development and growth. You want to think outside of the box, off the beaten path, and you want to do all of that to drive morale through the roof. You are open-minded and you are searching for something fun and different. You want tactical tips on how to engage and empower your teams. You want those outside of the box methods to grow and scale your team. And you want to empower yourself to be the best leader you can be. You want this outside of the box methodology that can help your team in both a virtual and in-person workforce. And you want to incorporate the values of the individuals to create a safe space internally. You want these tactical tips to evolve your team as you evolve as a leader. And that, my friends, is why Failed It is no longer Failed It. We were failing at not giving you all the goods. We have so many tools in our soft skill training toolkit, and we want you to have them. Accessorize with them. Make it fashion, honey, okay? So after listening to this podcast, you will be working it like the baddest mamma jamma in your biz, okay? We are going to give you professional development through the lens of improv comedy, some lessons learned through failures. Don't think she's going away, okay? Some tips on developing your team, tips on corporate leadership, best practices as a leader, and more. This is not your stuffy corporate podcast with tactics and snooze fest scenario training. This is outside the box. You see that box sitting right there? Look around it. That space all around it is where we live, and we don't ever jump in that box. Be prepared for tangible icebreakers, tips and tricks that you can use today, legit today, with your teams and in your biz. We will talk about the magic of improv as a teaching tool and how you can apply it to leading hybrid teams. We are legit giving away all of our secrets because we asked you what you want and you told us what you needed. So stay tuned. Improve It, fam. So much goodness is in store for you. Now, if you have listened to what was previously the Failed It podcast, I'm going to ask you a huge favor. Since we are changing our show name, but keeping the old show titles, we have to make a splash. And if you haven't done it, could you please, from the depths of my heart, leave us a review on iTunes? It would mean so much to me, to the team and the people who drive the show behind the scenes. All you have to do is go to iTunes, scroll to the bottom of the page, and hit 5 stars. So first, go to iTunes, search Improve It podcast, scroll down, hit 5 stars. There's a space that you can write a sentence or two. Literally, it takes less than 1 minute. But we need your help to spread the word about this show. And it would mean the world if you are part of the Improve It family for you to do that for us. We will keep pumping out this great free content, but all we need is your review to help us do that. Reviews are also how we get great guests on the show, because you can't see show downloads. They are only available to the people who run the show. They aren't public. So reviews are what a guest looks at to determine if they want to come on the show as a guest or not. So with that review, we can bring you all the great guests. That is my ask, but I am so excited. I am so excited, and I am so happy, Improve It family, that you are here. Thank you so much for trusting me with your fails and for trusting me and the team to help you improve your it. Whatever your it is, we are here to help you learn through play, one laugh and one smile at a time. So until next time, Improve It family, keep failing, keep improving, and keep trying, because the world needs that special it that only you can bring. See you next time. Hey friends, thanks for tuning in to Improve It. I am so happy you were along for the ride. If you enjoyed this show, head on over to iTunes to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Now, if you're really feeling today's show and you've improved it even just a little bit, please take a screenshot and tag me at Keeping It Real Deal on Instagram and share it in your stories. I'll see you next week, but I want to leave you with this thought. What did you improve today, and how will that help your future successful self? Think about it. I am rooting for you, and the world needs that special it that only you can bring. See you next time.